Hi, it's Trisha again with Homemade Smart, and we're back from Costco or from our meat market, wherever we decided to go, which was Costco today. And today's lesson is how to make your own lunch meat. And I know when I go and look at a package of lunch meat, it's got all this preservatives and dextrose and sugar and caramel coloring and all that stuff. So we're going to make some lunch meat that is free from all that. It just has natural stuff. It's got salt, pepper, and whatever kind of spices that you want to go ahead and put on that for you. So what we've got here is our meat, and this is a whole round tip beef round tip. And this, once it's cooked, we'll put onto a meat slicer, and we'll just slice it as thin or as thick as you want to, whatever type of meat that you, or thicknesses that you want for your sandwiches. So what I have here is a really nice aluminum or stainless steel roasting pan. My mother had gotten this years and years ago. I don't even know where she got it from at this point. I think it was Kitchen Caboodle or somewhere. But it's very, very heavy. I do my turkeys in here for Thanksgiving. I do my hams, and this is also what I put my roast beef in when I make my lunch meat. Got my oven preheated to 300 degrees on roast. If you have a convection oven, go ahead, and that's always the best way to do it, is have it on that and put it on roast. And it makes it taste really, it cooks a lot more evenly for what we're doing here. So what we're going to do is, it's very simple. You take the meat here and take it out of its paper, plastic that it has on there. And right, wrong, or indifferent, I just always go ahead and let the juices that are naturally in there kind of coat the bottom of the pan. And I'm not putting anything else in the pan, no oils or anything like that. So I just kind of let the juices from the meat come down inside and kind of saturate it. And so make sure we get rid of this garbage. And dealing with meats, you always want to make sure you wash your hands. It's not as bad as poultry, but you do want to make sure that you wash your hands because you're going to be seasoning it and everything. So what we normally do then is, now comes your time to be creative. Number one, you're going to want to put some salt on it. That helps to just flavor it. But then you can put whatever other kind of spices that you want. I have here a Himalayan pink salt from the Himalayas, and it's good. It says on here that it is good for meats, and it helps to, it's got a really rich flavor to it, and I like to salt that. And you might think, oh my gosh, I can't have that much salt, but meat does need to have some salt on it, and it does help to flavor it, and it will not taste salty at all. It just helps to kind of coat it, and then it's going to have a really nice good crust on it too. So I'm just going to sprinkle this salt over this meat here, and do some pepper as well, and season it on this side. And you can go ahead and crust it, and like I said, put any type of seasoning on it you want. Sometimes you can put either rosemary, or you can put, thyme, or whatever you want, and mix it up each time. So, and that's kind of what we do, what you can do. Then I'm just going to take some regular kosher salt as well, and it just kind of gives it just a little bit different texture to it. And so I like to just kind of mix up the salts a little bit, not always have just the one on there. And then you want to make sure that you switch it, turn it around, so that all of the meat gets salted. Now this particular piece of meat doesn't really have a fat side or anything. They've really done a good job of cutting all of that off. There's a little bit of pockets of fat, but as far as having like a fat side up or fat side down, it really doesn't apply to this particular cut. There's a little tiny bit on the bottom here, but they've really kind of trimmed a lot of that away, so you're not going to have a lot of that. And so I just want to make sure that we get this all nice and salted. Mix up the salts a little bit. It just kind of adds different textures. And the pepper. And today I think I'm just going to throw some thyme into here. And that will, of course, cook off. It doesn't, and when you go to slice the meat, it's just going to, it'll probably come off, it'll bake in. So I'm going to leave it fat side down, as what fat is there, it's just going to put it on fat side down. And here, we're going to grab, let me see here. time. You could even go so far as if you wanted to make it a spicy roast beef, you could do that and put some cayenne pepper or something like that if you wanted to. So just gonna put some of this in my hand. You could also use fresh thyme if you wanted to, or fresh herbs. That's certainly your preference. It doesn't really matter. I just have this on hand right now, so I'm just gonna sprinkle this on there. And that's the nice thing about doing your own lunch meat again, is that you can just put on the kind of spices that you want to put on there. So it makes it that's what makes it kind of nice. So a little bit more thyme on the bottom here. Yeah, when I was looking at all of the lunch meats, like it's got caramel coloring, it's got this, it's got that, and it just, you know, I just don't want to do that. And how do you know how it's processed? You know, they put it however they do it. I don't even know how they do it, but I'm sure it's not healthy as it should be. But the nice thing about this is that now you have meat and lunch meat that you can have and then divide it up and freeze it, which is what we're going to do. Okay, so we've got the meat pretty much seasoned, and now with my oven preheated on roasting for about 300 degrees, what we're going to do is put the lid on it. Put our spices away here. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go ahead and put this into a 300 degree oven and let that sit in there. And now we wait. We're going to let this cook probably about 3 to 4 hours, depending on how rare you want your lunch meat. Of course, it's going to, as it cools, it's going to cook even more. So you can put a thermometer in there if you want to, but I just like to cut into it later on. So we're going to let this roast for about 3 to 4 hours, kind of a slow roast, because it is almost 12 pounds, so it's going to take a little bit of time. But having a convection oven is also going to cut your cooking time in half, so, or really speed up the cooking process. So we're going to go ahead and let that sit there, and then when it's done, we're going to let it cool, and then we'll go ahead and slice it. So we'll see you back here in a bit.